Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our preview of the Nemesis Plateau de Albion preview for the divisions that you guys voted, 2.21, and that means we get the France nuclear arsenal scenario, and we went over the Soviet one already, and if you don't want to miss any other videos in the future, consider leaving a subscription down below. With that said, let's jump into the 152nd here. And let's talk about this defending division here, that if you want to play on their home map, you can do now as well, once this DLC drops next week, by going and downloading a Wooden Box's amazing map for this as well, which he will launch around the DLC as well. So yeah, check out the workshop and the maps there for Wooden Box's Plateau de Albion map. Fantastic work there. And then we have here now the logistics tab for this division. This is the defending one. It gets FSP, it gets VABs, it gets helicopters, and it gets some really big transport trucks as well. Sizable wise, for sure. 2,000 supplies inside, that is nice as well. TRM 2000s coming around, and yeah, some small guys here around. Infantry tab, one of the strengths of this division, though it has a lot of reservists. It's reservists defending plus some marines coming around to help out. And yeah, it starts here with normal MG and reservist MG. Military police with the reservists gonna be important, so the pivot here with the military police trait and security trait can be helpful in this division. Then we got into the marine part here, where we got resolute trait. That's how Marines get handled by Eugen, so no special forces, but resolute, so nice extra buff there. Smoke grenade on the lead unit here with VAB can be nice and handy. Then 4 weapon slots here with a sniper rifle with 850 meter range, so yeah, and MG. Pretty high suppression here for these guys, so that is nice. Assault rifles as well. LRAC, still more VABs, so VABs really common here. And then if you want to get the guys with Apilas, you can get that as well. 10-man hit points quads is nice too. And then yeah, heavy MG here, 50 cal for these guys as well. With the resolute trait, the 50 cal, that's not as important. And then we come to the reservists, which you get more cards of. And yeah, they are pretty important. Reservists LRAC with only 1 medium machine gun and some old rifles, including some submachine guns as well, and some old MIS battle rifles here. LRAC 73 as a weak anti-tank launcher as well. And the normal reservists without any AT. So yeah, weak AT, the guys are in 5th lane day as well. These reservists here coming in the reservist VAB as well, which has a 50 cal on top, but it is cheaper, has the reservist trait, so that is pretty nice. These guys don't get the transport. If you want to have this, you have to bring the normal reservists. That is a pretty nice combo. And then we get Gendarmes de l'Air, which is the Air Force military police. These guys also old rifles, but is chunky military police squad for the reservist combo. That can be quite nice. And you don't have to take the pivots, small squads. You can go with these guys, and then you get your Sappers, which you get with the 5th lane day already as well. Here in Flam and Sapper option, no special transport there. And leader that we know already as well. M40A1 has the recoil rifles, Milan teams here, including with the VAB Milan. That is pretty nice. And then the commando Air Force units here. And those are chunky. And they get some nice stuff here as well. They get 4 deploy, so they can counter some early on stuff as well. For the light division, they get a long range sniper rifle, a mini-me, and an anti-tank weapon. So a really solid special force. The anti-tank weapon though is not that amazing. The Wasp 58, yeah, on Panzerfaust level basically from the damage and accuracy. So not the greatest there, but it can help out in some situations. Then you get the VEB with the 20mm on top here as a transport, which is nice as well. That's pretty similar to what you get for the Milan teams as well, the Mistral teams as well. But yeah, 20mm on top here on one of these VABs basically, and platform that is pretty strong as well. No AT on it, just like with the Mistral's teams, but a good fire support unit against enemy infantry with smoke, security trait. That is not super important, but can be helpful as well. Artillery is interesting as well. We see 155mm big old chunky guys. We outside of that though don't see anything big. But if you have some long range artillery, which for a light division is not always the case, and for example the 11th para doesn't get it, so having the option for some big chunky guys is nice. They are pretty old and they're not that great. 155mm, 3 rounds per minute. Not really up to par with, for example, the German 155mm that has 4 rounds per minute, which is a pretty big difference, especially because it means that the second shell comes onto target earlier, which always is the critical factor, and because it means that the enemy might not be able to move out of the way yet, gets stunned, has to stick there even further, gets hit by the third shell as well, but a solid artillery piece, nonetheless. Tank tab is interesting. Prices here are still maybe potentially subject to change. We will see. Outside of that, though, it is for sure some cool stuff here. We get Milan 1 and Milan 2 little trucky trucks here, with the old truck having the Milan 1, the newer truck having the Milan 2. AMX-13s, I always love to see them around. I love these little tanky boys, and it's nice to have them. The highest rate of fire of any tank in Wano, with 12 rounds per minute. It is a terrible gun. It has terrible accuracy. It has no frontal armor, but it has smoke and it has that quick fire gun, and I like that. And I played around a decent amount in Berlin Command with them already. They can't really fit them in. Here you might be able to, though the AMLs are helpful here as well, as they have similar range. They have better stealth, and they have no armor though. Thus, they have lower rate of fire. The gun fires the same shells, so shell for the 90mm are the same here, with all firing heat rounds for the damage. And then we have another AML here, plus Mephistos. Mephistos really important for this deck, gives you long range fire ATGMs that can really hit hard, so that is a great addition. And the MX-13s here, yeah, your light tank, at least you get some, but it's not that amazing. Recon tab, you get some cool stuff as well. Yes, Reservist Eclairs are not that cool though. They are just your classic disheartened recon unit. They have AT weapon, you get 7 per card, that is nice. Transports are decent as well, though this transport doesn't even have recon. It has an MG over here on the side, kind of World War II style here for the this next to the driver's seat, and the Beifahrersitz in German. Couldn't quite find the English word in my head right now. And Maroon Eclairs here, those are the Marine ones. Potentially a good bit better. You pay a lot more though. Nice, more than triples, but this thing, it has smoke and an upper blast. That is a great combo, and it has a decent amount of firepower CQC as well, with the minimis and so on. This is a strong squad for recon with force, and then you get your snipers here as well. Solid sniper squad, nothing super special, but that is nice. You get your old recon helicopter with very good optics and 6 hit points. 6 hit points is important, means it survives virtually 1 hit, and it's actually not an old helicopter. Yeah, I messed it up in my head. It's newer than the Alouette. It's a good looking helicopter. And yeah, really beautiful. The Eco Réural. French names. Sorry guys, I will massacre them all. I won't stop with that. Yeah, this one is okay. It has very good optics, not exceptional, but it can survive a man-pad hit. And that is a really nice improvement over a lot of other NATO recon helicopters. AML-60s, solid with their grenade launcher ignoring enemy cover of infantry, so they are a decent deleting tool against infantry nowadays. 50 cal helps out, can help out against light vehicles as well if need be. Solid, but can't deal with anything heavier, so only okay. L90 here, which we already know from the 11th has a recon version coming around here without Reservist trait or anything like that. And that one has smoke, gets very good optics, range, and so on, all not that amazing. You really only have for long range the Mephistos basically and the Milans. The tanks have to get somehow sneaky, because if they get shot at, they die. So this is always a problem with the AMLs here. Unlike the other French divisions where you get them with max range firepower, you get some recon vehicles with max range firepower that you don't get that here. So that will be interesting how you close the gap. Recon plane here coming around as the second recon plane in the game with the Magister here that has some snap rockets, though they're so light that don't think they will do much. Don't quite know why the air brakes are extended here in this scenario, or if that's... No, I guess that's some radio equipment. With them being on both sides, yeah, I guess that's not the air brake. Yeah, that's... They don't have any way to fall back, so those are antennas. The MG in the front doesn't really matter either. Should be 2, but yeah. It won't matter if you have 1 or 2 7mm on your plane. It won't kill anything. So this is really mostly recon. Not that confident that they will do much, but the snaps can help out in a pinch if need be as well. EBR 90, another 90mm cannon vehicle, and one of the coolest looking and weirdest looking vehicles ever produced in my eyes. It has those weird middle wheels that can help out going cross-country, whilst the other ones ensure that it can go fast on road. And yeah, that keeps this guy versatile. It has more frontal armor than the AMLs and so on, so that is nice. It has even one more pen here on its gun, even though it's 90mm as well. Not quite sure why that is, but that helps out a bit. Though it's heat as well, so it doesn't get extra pen when it gets closer, so not super important. Extra accuracy is helpful as well. So the EBR here, a solid little guy, and yeah, a really cool looking guy. You get 2 cards of 6, that is strong, if that stays that way, but they are disheartened. So yeah, the extra accuracy and so on, maybe not the case after all. EBR, cool looking vehicle. We will see how good it is. 90 points is actually quite expensive for it. And then we have AA pieces, where we start with an old Bofors with really low accuracy, worst Bofors in the game. And other Bofors are already not amazing. So yeah, with this hardened trait on top, so this goes down to 5% base accuracy. It's just rough. It's really rough for this thing, but it's really dirt cheap, and it has decent range against helicopters, so maybe if you just spam them, they might do things. I wouldn't be too confident though. This thing is 25 points as well. It shreds a bit more when it gets in range. It has the lower range against aircraft and helicopter though, so that's an issue there. The aim time is same as well, though this one has a bit longer due to the disheartened one. TM 2000, that is still good, because that can move around and hunt down things. And then we have the Sabre here, 20mm, with a good bit more firepower, as it has 2 of them, and a good bit more stationary accuracy as well. So yeah, all of that helps. It doesn't get extra range though, so it doesn't help super much, but at the beginner here, this thing looks pretty solid, though the price is quite high as well. Then we come to the Mistral, which have the VAB T20 with the 20mm on top, which stats-wise is pretty close to what we saw earlier. Good AA capabilities with these, and that I think is what you want to take for sure. You only get 1 card though, but yeah, Mistrals are really solid manpads, great anti-helicopter range, great anti-aircraft range, good accuracy. Aim time is the only issue against aircraft, but outside of that, the Mistral is fantastic. And then we get these little boys here, with 2 per card, and yeah, decent range against aircraft and helicopters, not amazing, especially as they are radar guided. Good damage, mediocre accuracy, so at least a solid mobile platform that can hit helicopters on their max range, and that can hit aircraft as well, so all of that is good, but it isn't amazing. And then in the air we have the little helicopter with a 20mm, 6 hit point here, making it a bit better than Gazelle Cannon, though not really that much. And then we have the old Alouettes here. That's the old helicopter that I was thinking about when I first ran over these guys. Because, yeah, this one has old AS-11s. They're real not great ATGM. They are pretty slow. They are really inaccurate. They only have the mediocre 2,625 meter range. And they only do 19 pen. So it's not a great anti-tank helicopter. But if you need it, it can do the job. And then you get the Puma, which has the Jihad as well, has 6 hit points as well, and has 10 ECMs. Plus, no, it's actually slower. So, yeah, I would usually go for these guys, especially as the Puma Pirat's availability nowadays is pretty terrible. Yeah, the anti-Puma Pirat policies went a bit too far in my eyes. This thing is not really worth it, but it can transport units. That's its one advantage. You can, if you want to, in a pinch, use it as a transport. Wouldn't recommend though. Air tab is an interesting one. Really love the air tab of this one. You get more Magisters, this time with AT weapons, though it is the terrible AS-11 with really terrible range for an aircraft. So in the end, not something that you really want to use that much, but if you spam them, they could be interesting, but they're 100 points, so you can't really fully spam them. They would be 80 points, maybe, if they would be 90 points, maybe. 100 points, I'm not sure you really want to take them. Alpha Jets here in Napalm and HE variants, similar to the German ones. Then we got some interesting AA units here with the Crusader. Decent speed, only 8 hit points, only 10 ECM, and only short-range missiles on this one. This one, only long-range missiles, as you don't have many pods to put, you don't have any underwing pylons here for these guys. So, Crusader, interesting unit. And yeah, the AA1 and the AA2 here, nice little extras. Mirage 3E coming in with long-range missiles, but only 8 hit points, only 10 ECM, and only 1 long-range missile. That's always the issue of the Mirage 3E already in 5th Vendée. You get 2 cards at least of these, together with the Crusaders, that is quite nice. But yeah, like you can get a lot of fighters if you want to, but they are all pretty mediocre fighters. Though at least these ones are cheap, and having a long-range radar plane for cheap can be interesting if you get it off, especially as they are fire and forget. I think the AA2 is something that you can work with if you macro them nicely, though it is hard to make them work. But the fire and forget on the R530s is big here. The AA1s are decent helicopter hunters, I guess. And yeah, so I think there is something to play around with the Crusaders, but they are not amazing. F-15s will still slaughter them. Superintendent are your attack aircraft. That is new as well, and that is a beautiful looking plane as well. And they are coming in with interesting loadouts here. Rocket one with Magiques. Magiques are pretty decent, and the Rocket one with 2 DEFA 30mm can shred infantry units and so on the ground. That is nice. The Super Dart with a good, well-guided ATGM missile here with the AS-30L. The upgraded one with better fire control that gives it 60% accuracy. It's still not fire and forget or so you still have to guide it into the target. And the range is not great, but damage is good and the accuracy is okay. And air-to-air missiles helping out this guy as well. Superintendent Cluster coming with decent amount of cluster and coming with Magics. And then the last one without Magics comes with 6 400 kilocon bombs, so that puts a lot of damage out there as well. Yeah, interesting, solid air tap. I don't think it's amazing, but there's some nice stuff to play around. The Crusaders and the Superintendents are new, cool-looking planes. Magister looks pretty cool as well. So that is all nice, fancy tools. The Crottle, the EBR, and so on are nice as well. The Division obviously likes staying power, with forward deploy infantry in small numbers and a lot of spammable infantry in a lot of 50 cal APCs. The Division has some interesting maneuverability coming on, especially as it follows up with AML 90s and so on as well. So there is some play around here, but we gotta see how that all works out. So yeah, with that said, guys, see you next time, and see you with the balance patch and all of that in the next video. Bye bye, and have a great day.